Joe? Now this, according to the Congressional Budget Office, that's the government's bean counters, it's going to cost taxpayers $50,000 a head for every person who gets health insurance under Obamacare. That's just for starters. How about this? The CBO also reports that Medicaid spending will double what it was when President Obama took office. It'll double in a few years' time, thanks in part to Obamacare. Washington Examiner senior congressional correspondent David Drucker is with us. So I was told by the president, he told the whole country that Obamacare would never add a dime to the deficit and that it would bend the cost curve down. That's not accurate, is it?
Well, I don't know if we've ever seen a government program of this size and scope that ended up doing any of those things. Even Medicare and Medicaid, the original Medicaid, programs that most Americans support, Republican, Democrat, conservative, liberal, those things are costing us a lot more than they were envisioned when they were passed in the 60s. And I don't see why Obamacare is going to be any different if it does its job, which is cover a whole lot more people with government subsidies. And, you know, eventually, Stu, where that money is going, where the cost is going to shift to are state budgets, who over time are going to take up more and more of the cost.
So it is accurate to say that the cost of Obamacare is much higher than it was projected, and that even with all these added costs and all this extra spending of money, at the end of it, 10 years from now, we will still have 30 million people uninsured. Is that accurate?
Well, I don't know if we're going to have that many people still uninsured. The Affordable Care Act might end up doing its job in bringing down uninsured rates. But look, the only way they were able to sell this to a broad cross-section of the country that already had health insurance was to say, we're going to lower your costs. We're going to bring down what you're paying every month for health care. Well, you can't do that if you're busy expanding health care to everybody and guaranteeing everybody that they're going to have coverage almost no matter what. And maybe those are good things. But I think everybody that understood the law always knew it was going to cost taxpayers more money than they were already paying to the government, and I think that's being borne out.
Now, this puts Democrats in the Senate in a very difficult position, because there are going to be bills calling for the reform of Obamacare, the repeal of part of it. Are those Democrats going to stick with Obamacare even as costs go up and the political price is very high for doing that? Are the Democrats going to stick with the president on this, or will they go with the Republicans and say, okay, you're right, we've got to cut the cost here somehow, we're with you?
Yeah, no, they're sticking with the Democrats. They're sticking with their party. This is something they believe in. And just look at the 2014 elections. All those red state Democrats never backed away from the Affordable Care Act, Stu. So there's no reason all the Democrats up in 2016, or most of them are up in either swing states or in Democratic-leaning states. They're going to stick with the party. They believe it, and the politics is better for them in a presidential election. At least that's how it appeared to them at this point.
Okay, we shall see. David, thank you very much for joining us.
Anytime. Thank you.
Not a bad story, I'd say. All right, thanks, David.